Hi, this is Dave Frank. I'm coming to you from the Dave Frank School of Jazz in Midtown Manhattan. I'd like to thank Brett Premack for the opportunity to share my master classes with you on his channel. At the current time, there are 27 master classes at my masterclass archive at www.davefrankjazz.com. All are free with no commercials. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, criticisms, or tomatoes, feel free to send them over to me anytime at dave@davefrankjazz.com. Blessings and keep swinging from New York City.
Hi, my name is Dave Frank. Welcome to my 26th Internet Masterclass. I'm coming to you live tonight from Harry, NYC in Midtown Manhattan. Tonight I'm psyched to offer you a part 2 of my 4-part series, Beginning Jazz Improvisation. Tonight's class is called Improvising over Basic Chord Progressions. This class is a follow-up to part 1 of the Beginning Jazz Improv series, Intro to Chord Mapping. My intention tonight is to show you how to use the basic improv concepts to improvise on the 4 common progressions we studied in part 1 of this series, and then how to put our common progressions together so we can improvise over a complete jazz standard. It may be useful to view this class on its own, but I recommend you check out the first part of this series, Chord Mapping, if possible, so you can follow the learning flow and develop a strong foundation for the process of jazz improv. Let's get to work. In part 1 of this series, we learned how to reduce many jazz standards to a combination of simple chord progressions and how to identify the scales that we can use to improvise over the 4 common sequences. The 4 basic progressions are 2 minor 7, 5-7, 1 major 7, 2 minor 7, 5-7, non-resolving, 2 minor 7 flat 5, 5-7, 1 minor 6, and 1 major 7, 6-7, 2 minor 7, 5-7, 1 major 7. As I mentioned in part one, anybody can begin improvising jazz if the right musical elements and improv concepts are used together. What separates good players from beginners in jazz is the conscious use of the improv concepts that we'll study tonight. In order to improv over jazz tunes successfully, one should have some of these improv concepts guiding the improvising process as you're playing. The first of these improv concepts is feeling in fours. The most important thing to know in improvising jazz is that linear improvisation should be thought of as a continuous flow of swing eighth notes, grouped in groups of four with a slight accent on the first of the four eighth notes. The swing eighth note flow is the wind in your sails of improv. Improvising in the swing eighth flow will put you in the improv zone, the rhythmic flow from which improvisation will flow on its own. Feeling in fours is the secret doorway to a lifetime of creative music making. In other masterclasses available on YouTube, I've shown you how to use the feeling in fours concept to improvise over modal vamps and the 12-bar blues. Tonight I'll show you how to use the feeling in fours concept to begin improvising over the four basic chord progressions that form 50 to 75% of most jazz standards, and how to combine improvising over the basic progressions to begin improvisation over a complete tune. First, let's improvise over the 2 minor 7, 5 7, 1 major 7 progression. We know from our chord mapping class that we can use the scale of the 1 while improvising over the complete 2 5 1 progression. In the key of C, the 2 5 1 progression goes like this: D minor 7 for 4 beats, G7 for 4 beats, C major 7 for 8 beats. We'll put a metronome on the tempo 66 to begin. Beginning improvising at a slow tempo is crucial to allow all the various improv wheels to turn together. Give yourself a chance. You can do this, but start at a slow tempo. First, listen to the metronome beat at 66 and feel the basic pulse in your body. You can tap your foot along with the pulse, or do a little Stevie Wonder thing with your head to get into the groove. Once you are feeling the pulse, before you start playing, feel groups of 4 swing eighth notes superimposed over the pulse feeling. Remember to place a small accent on the first of the 4 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's our basic groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start feeling this before you play. Another way to capture the correct rhythmic flow is to say the phrase slice of pizza along with the metronome pulse before and then as you start improvising. This secret slice of pizza improv technique will get the internal flow of music going for you. I'll now improvise over the 2 5 1 progression in C, feeling in fours, using the notes of the C major scale. Let the flow of swing eighth notes move the music by itself in any direction as you play. Use only the notes of the scale of C for now and try to create a complete short musical phrase over the progression. Every time it will be different. Move with the groove and let the eighth notes carry you to a complete phrase. Let your fingers follow your ear. Sometimes start higher and go lower. Sometimes start lower and go higher. Explore the territory. As long as you make a complete statement, you're communicating and it's correct. be a good time to introduce improv concept number 2, flow, phrase, breathe. For now, every time you begin an improv phrase, allow the feeling in fours pattern to generate the improv flow. At first, you can intentionally create short, continuous phrases of between 1 and 2 measures. After entering the flow, stop the melody at a place where you can feel that you've just created a complete musical sentence. Generally speaking, a short melodic phrase is 1 to 2 measures of continuous 8th note flow. A medium length phrase is between 2 to 4 measures, and a long phrase would be anything longer than 4 measures of continuous 8th note flow. The common denominator of all the improv lines you will ever create is, when your line is over, you clearly feel that you have just created a complete, meaningful musical sentence. After you stop the line, breathe for a moment and allow the rest after the line to tell you where to begin the next line. This flow, phrase, breathe template is the essence of all good basic improv lines. This will work.
Now we'll improvise over a 2-5-1 progression that doesn't resolve to the 1 major 7 chord. We'll take the first 4 measures of Satin Doll to get started with this progression. The first 2 measures are a non-resolving 2-5 progression in C, D minor 7 to G7, over which we can improvise using the scale of the C, or the implied 1, and the next 2 measures are 2-5-1 progression in the key of D, E minor 7, A7, over which we can use the D major scale. Feel the pulse, feel in fours, and use the basic scales to improvise short and possibly medium length complete melodic lines followed by a rest. A couple of times around. Every time will be different. Sometimes you can do a longer phrase that covers the whole entire progression, always flowing in the swing eighths. Always sounds like a complete melody. Sometimes you can do shorter phrases. Resolve it to a 1 major 7 if you like at the end. As you get familiar with the process, you can extend your lines to include longer lines that will still follow the flow, phrase, breathe template. The feeling of completeness when you end your lines is crucial to the improv process. Your lines won't turn out perfectly every time, but while learning improvisations, mistakes are allowed. The percentage of the lines you nail will increase as you continue your practice. If you fall off the improv horse, just dust yourself off and get back on the pony. I'll try some long lines on the 2-5 progression. D minor 7, G7, E minor 7, A7. We're demonstrating longer lines in the swing 8 feel. 2, 3, 4. A longer melody. Let your fingers follow your ear and move with the groove, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'll try improvising over the 2 minor 7, flat 5, 5-7, 1 minor 6 progression using the harmonic minor scale of the 1. This progression in the key of C is D minor 7 flat 5, obviously sounds much different, G7, C minor 6 for 2 measures. And our harmonic minor scale in the key of C goes like this: C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B, C. Now I'll try the famous slice of pizza method so you can hear how you can use that phrase to get into the rhythmic flow. 1, 2, ready, go. Try it. Slice of pizza, slice of pizza, slice of pizza, slice of pizza, pie at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slice of pizza pie, slice of pizza, slice of pizza pie. 3, 4, 1. Sometimes start higher. Slice of pizza, slice of pizza, slice of pizza pie. Slice of pizza, slice of pizza pie. Sometimes start lower. Always come to a complete stop at the end of every phrase. 1, 2, ready, go. Slice of pizza, slice of pizza, long slice of pizza, slice of pizza, pizza pie. Every time is a different complete melody, moved by the swing eighth groove. Let your fingers do the walking. Just throw yourself into it, and you'll get it. Yeah. As you improvise, you can intentionally try moving your line in either an ascending or descending motion, or combine both directions for a longer line. We're always looking to have the sensation when we stop the line that we have just created a simple, coherent sentence followed by a rest. Ascending, descending. Sometimes use steps, sometimes try some leaps. Let's try some leaps. Steps, combine them. You can sing along with your playing to help you get a sense of the melody. That will help for some people. Flow along the road of improv, guys. When you make a complete phrase and it's correct, you should feel like you can say yeah at the end of every phrase. 1, 2, ready, go. Try a longer one. Ascending, descending, and yeah. 3, 4, 1, 2. Short ones, yeah. Tell it like it is, brother. Yeah. Little Louis Armstrong here. One more. Try another one. Let it flow. Let it go. Let it grow. Let it glow. Let it glow. All right. Move with the groove and feel it in your soul. 2, 3, 4.
have one more bridge to cross before we arrive at the promised land, improvising over tunes. Although I'm going through tonight's class quickly, you should feel free to take as much time as you need with each individual step until you feel you've got the basic process solid in your fingers, in your mind, and in your heart. This level of learning usually takes between 2 and 3 months. I usually have students do 6 keys of improvising in each of the 4 progressions at the rate of 2 to 3 keys per week. The 6 basic keys to improvise on for these progressions are generally C, F, B flat, E flat, and A flat. And you may substitute the key of D and A for the keys of E flat and A flat when improvising over the 2-5-1 minor progression. I'll now improvise a bit over the 2-5-1 progression in C, followed by the 2 minor 7 flat 5, 5-7, 1 minor 6 progression in A minor. The complete sequence will go like this: D minor 7 for 1 measure, G7 for 1 measure, C major 7 for 2 measures, followed by B minor 7 flat 5, E7 for 1 measure, and A minor 6 for 2 measures. I'll use the scale of C major for the first 4 bars and the scale of the A harmonic minor for the last 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not on the scale, you can try it. But it's cool to just stick to the notes on the scale at first. Every different chord progression has its own character. 3, 4. C scale, slice of pizza, slice of pizza pie. Mistakes are allowed. 3, 4, 1, 2. Going into A minor, same flow. Two, 3, 4. 2-5-1 in C. Short melodies. Everyone sounds complete. Going with the flow of the 8th notes. Getting the hang of this? All right. Now we go into A minor. Now we'll try a little with the slice of pizza method. You'll be amazed at how this works. If you say the words as you're improvising with a slight accent on the word slice, your improvising will be right in the improv zone. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 minor 7 in C. 5-7 in C. C major 7. 2. Now we're going to A minor. Slice of pizza, slice of pizza, slice of pizza, slice of pizza pie. I won't get rid of my day job. Back to C. Slice of pizza, slice of pizza, slice of pizza pie. Boom. 2, 3, 4. Into A minor. We generally want to do 2 times around this complex progression and then stop and take a breath. Let's try combining the 1-6-2-5 progression in C with the 2-5 progression in F. The complete sequence here will be C major 7 for a measure, A dominant 7 for a measure, D minor 7 for a measure, G7 for a measure, C major 7 for 2 measures, followed by G minor 7, which is 2 of F, C7, 5 of F, F major 7, 1 in F. I'll include in the notes for this class the entire process, including the order of the keys to practice in. This will make the learning flow clear for you. If you hear other notes to play,
You can try playing them, but it's also cool when you begin to stick to the basic scales. Makes it easier, but you can feel free to experiment with some other possibilities if you like. We'll work on chromatics in part 4 of this series. 1, 6, 2, 5 in C, 2, 5, 1 in F. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have to switch scales faster. Back to C. Now we go into F and follow the F scale. Same concepts for phrasing. Let's try this one more time. We're in 1, 6, 2, 5 in C. Back to the C scale. Try some leaps. Steps. You can pause when it feels right and wait for the rest to tell you when to start the next one. Ready? Go. 2, 5, 1 in F. You can try some different combinations of these 4 basic progressions if you like to get more experience before going for a complete tune. And you can also include the 2 common anomalies we studied in part 1 of this class in your combined chord sequence for more variety.
Congratulations! You are now ready to improvise over your first complete tune. Although this step will be a leap from what we've done so far, if you've taken the time to integrate the musical elements and improv concepts that we've studied in part 1 and 2 of this series so far, this should be a small and manageable leap. When you begin improvising, pick tunes that are fairly basic in their harmonic structure. Giant steps will come later, you Coltrane freaks. Improvising on more modern Bill Evans tunes, Wayne Shorter tunes, or Chick Corea tunes involve a more advanced level of theory, so concentrate on the super standards from the Great American Songbook to start. I'll include a list of suggested standards for your consumption. Always map out the chords progressions of your tunes first, take a section of the tune at a time, and improvise at a slow tempo. Usually 66 to about 84 on the metronome to start. Let's put everything together on the tune Take the A Train. Here is a mapped out professional diagram of the tune. First, we'll improvise on the A section alone. When you do this, you'll see that the challenge is almost exactly what we've done so far.
Let's take a look at the A section of Take the A Train. The chord progression goes like this. C major 7 for 2 measures, D7 flat 5 for 2 measures, D minor 7 for 1 measure, G7 for 1 measure, C major 7 for 2 measures. Our scales will be C major 7 for the first 2, D Lydian dominant scale for the next 2, and we talked about this in the first part of this series. It's a scale that works really well over this particular moment of this particular tune. A Lydian dominant is a major scale with a raised 4th and a flat 7. So here we're doing a D Lydian dominant, and then we can go back to C for the rest of the A section. So improvising over the A section of Take the A Train is very much like what we just studied when we were improvising on the combined progressions. Here we go. A section of Take the A Train. 1, 2, ready. Very slow. All the concepts are the same. We'll just do section a few times. You can stop at the end. 1, 2, 3. Take some time to get familiar with each section before going on to the next. We'll go right to this chord here. It's a real tense sound. It's great. That Duke was something else, man. This is improvising on the A section of Take the A Train, or Take the A Train. One more time, A section, improvising. Let it flow. Stop at the end of the complete phrase. Take a breath. Start another phrase and let it flow. One more. Mistakes are allowed. Short phrases. Very tense. Now it resolves. All right. Now let's tackle the bridge. The bridge goes F major 7 for one measure, G minor 7 for one measure, F major 7 for two measures. That's all F planet. We can play F major scale over those 4 bars. A minor 7, D7. That's a G planet. We can play G major scale over those 2. And then we're back home to C. Let's try the bridge again. F major 7 for one measure. G minor 7 for one measure. All F major scale improvising. 2 measures back on F major 7. A minor 7, we're in G planet here, G scale, D7. Back to C planet, C major scale here. That's our bridge. Let's try a little improvising. 1, 2, ready, go. All F scale here, make phrases, go with the flow. I think you're getting the idea by now. Now we switch to G scale. Back to C. Okay, a full chorus on Take the A Train. Here comes the train. Get on it. 1, 2, ready, go. Always stay with the progression in your head. Keep that sequence real clear and strong as you improvise. Make a complete statement, stop and wait to get a signal to start the next one. In the rest, I'm hearing what's going to come next in my head. It's a gift of the universe. The music never ends. Use a little slide there. Here's another one. That's a nice technique, by the way. We can use the C7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in F planet. Ascending, descending, make your phrase. Flow and stop. 2, 3. We're going into G planet. Yeah. Back to the A section. Some leaps and steps is okay. 3, 4. All right. Okay, we just got through one complete chorus of improvising on Take the A Train. Now I'm going to double the tempo so you can hear what it sounds like a little bit down the line. Once you get the basic principles of improv happening, you can look at the Learn to Burn class also on YouTube to get some ideas about how to speed it up. Let's try chorus at 132. Take the A train, stay relaxed, stay flowing. 1, 2, count, 2. Follows all the same ideas. Obviously faster, it swings a little more. You can hear all the concepts, right? How are we doing out there?
Woo!
Is this clear for you?
Yep.
All right. I hope this class has simplified the process of jazz improv for you, and you can now swing successfully like the two crazy Czech brothers on Saturday Night Live. In the third part of Beginning Jazz Improvising, we'll explore how the use of arpeggios can expand and improve your improvisation. Thank you, Pfeiffer Garbisi, for your great work in filming and editing tonight's class, and thanks also to my wife, Hari, for her overall support and for letting us use Hari NYC. You can reach me with questions, compliments, complaints, or tomatoes anytime at dave@davefrankjazz.com. Blessings and keep swinging from New York City.